Hey guys, happy Tuesday, October 13th, I think. Today we're going to look at comparing physical and chemical properties and like how that would help you if you need to identify a substance. Okay, so what is the main difference? Well, physical properties, again, can always be observed without changing the identity of a substance. Okay, when water freezes into ice, it's still water. When you shred a piece of paper, it's still paper. Okay, so those are considered physical properties. Chemical properties can be observed if you attempt to change the identity of the substance. If you burn a log, that is a chemical property or a chemical change. It is no longer a log. It's now ash and some gas that has been released from the burning process. So those are the difference. Physical property, it stays the same. The substance does not change. Chemical property, you have a whole new substance. Okay, so, and you will have this question a lot over the next week. Describe the difference between a physical property and a chemical property. So take a brief second, pause the video, jot it down, say it to yourself, say it to somebody at your house, but tell me the difference between a physical and a chemical property. All right. Well, the book best describes it as a physical property is observed without changing the identity of the substance. Again, what the substance is, paper, water, whatever, stays the same. A chemical property is observed by attempting to change what it is. So here are a great list, and we're going to get into more physical properties in the next few days, but here's a basic list: color, shape, size, density, which we've done now for a couple, 3 weeks. Remember, don't break my heart, mass divided by volume, how much there is, the volume. The chemical properties are maybe a lot less common or things you wouldn't think of maybe, but flammability, again, the ability to burn, rusting, we've talked about that with cars, burning, corrosion, and reactivity, reacting with things. Okay. All right. Next question. What type of property is being shown by each nail? So we have this nail, okay? I know you guys can read, but bending an iron nail will change its shape, but it's not its identity. We're not changing what it is, we're just changing its shape. This one, the iron nail reacts with oxygen to form rust. So, which property is being shown by each of them? They are different. Let's move this down here. All right. So, bending the nail shows a property called malleability. That was a couple, 3 days ago. That is a term you need to know. When something can be, metal especially, can be bent or pounded down, that's malleability. Okay. This is one of the more common chemical properties, reacting with oxygen, rusting. All right, you are going to see these questions here in just a little bit on your assignment for today, but let's go down through them. If something is malleable, okay, malleability, you might hear. Is that physical or chemical? Say it to yourself. And that is physical, okay? It's changing the shape of the substance. Reacts with oxygen. Well, that's just right over here. That would be rusting. So that is chemical. Good. Magnetic, I don't think we've talked about much. If something is magnetic, that is a physical property. Okay. And then lastly, non-flammable or flammable would be a chemical property. So you are going to see these questions again. So keep those in mind. All right. How can physical and chemical properties identify a substance? When you get in high school, your chemistry teacher might give you a substance and say, tell me what it is. So you would have to go through like a checklist of things to help you identify it. Okay. Properties of a substance are its characteristic properties, I mean things about it, characteristics of it. Okay, and they can be physical or chemical or both, actually. Get me out of the way, sorry. Okay, and they stay the same or they help us identify substances throughout the world. So if you could do something here in wonderful Marion, Ohio, you could also use those same things no matter where you are around the world. Okay, so let's look at this activity. Someone is panning for gold. And so they think they might have real gold. Now, there is a thing called fool's gold, which we'll discuss at another time. But let's look at these examples. And what do you think could help you if you had a sample that you thought was gold? Okay. Would the color help you? Actually, no, because again, there is a substance called pyrite, and that is fool's gold, which means it looks just like gold, but it's not. All right. What happens when you strike your sample with a hammer? Okay. There are two different properties that we haven't discussed yet called fracture and cleavage, and we will look at those when we get into minerals. Okay. So we haven't talked about those yet, but when you strike it with a hammer, that would be yes. Okay. Gold would not shatter. And where you found it, would that tell you anything? Well, it wouldn't, okay, because pyrite and gold are often found in the same places. All right, so now the moving around of the picture. Let's look at this sample problem. You have a sample of gold that has a mass of 579 grams. Its volume is 30. What is the density? Well, hopefully you remember if you did your IXL, it's mass divided by volume. 579 divided by 30 would give you, oh, well, you can't see, but it would give you, sorry guys, a density of gold is 19.3. And that will tell us that right over there. Okay, there we go. 19.3 grams per cubic centimeter is the density of gold. So you find this object and you get its mass, 64.5. Let me see if I can use this. 64.5. I can't, sorry. And a volume of 14. So we need to find the density. So what do we know? Well, we know the mass and we know the volume. We want to find the density. So you would write it down, density equals mass over volume, and substitute those in. So you would do the math like we did on the IXL, and you get 4.61. If you remember back the slide before, the density of gold is 19.3. Okay, so could it be gold? Unfortunately, no. And there is, again, gold and pyrite. They look a lot alike. All right, so we're going to wrap up this part of the lesson with some questions here. And again, you're going to see these in just a few minutes. All right, let's look at number 22. Solubility or flammability is a physical property. Solubility is the ability to dissolve in something else. So flammability is a chemical property, or sorry guys, chemical. Okay, so solubility. All right, the melting point. Okay, that's where something goes from a solid to a gas or solid to a liquid, where something melts. Okay, think about ice. When it is a solid and it melts into a liquid. Okay, over here at number 24, a chemical property. Which one of those two would it be? Reactivity with water, think rusting, or magnetism? Well, it is reactivity with water. Flammability is the ability of a substance to transfer heat or burn. Well, it is burn. All right. And We'll just do this one real quickly. This is not on your assignment. The characteristic properties of a substance do or do not depend on the size. They do not. All right. So lastly, well, is density considered a physical property or a chemical property? Boy, I hope we know this one. Okay. It is physical property. All right. I'll have other announcements for you on the daily announcements. There are questions that go along with this. I tried to make them as easy peasy lemon squeezy as they could be. So just get them done. Hopefully that will help your grade as well. All right. Take care.